Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Academy for Civil Services. This is a video on daily news and editorial analysis, which I'll be covering from the Hindu and Indian Express. The most important news and editorial of the day will be discussed in this session. Let's get started with news topic list. Today is 21st of April. The first news is Ayush visa to be introduced for the foreigner. We'll see the detail about this. Second, Center to tweak e-commerce portal rules. Third, six Scorpion takes to water. See the detail about this as well. Fourth, sea may inundate many cities by 2050. We'll see how the submersion of the cities is anticipated by the recent IPCC report. And the last is an editorial in a free fall. So this particular editorial talks about the freebies that is ongoing in the governance and polity. So something very important for mains examination as well. So we'll see the detail of this editorial. Apart from this, at the end of this video, there will be MCQ based question. These questions will be based on current affairs that will help you for the upcoming prelims examination. So without any further delay, let's get started. And before that, if you are new to our channel, do not forget to subscribe Apti Academy for Civil Services on YouTube. If you like this video, if you find this video informative and helpful, do not forget to press a like button. And just to tell you about the prelims test series, this is a 60 high quality test series that you can practice and that will give you an insight how you need to approach the real examination that will be having in the prelims. So do check it out. आप इसकी practice जरूर करें. Questions ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा बनाएं. That would be more relevant for your examination as such. So the first news of the day, that is Ayush visa to be introduced for the foreigner. This is important for General Studies paper 2, that is government policies and intervention for the development of various sectors and issues arising from its design and implementations. So what the government has decided while addressing to a global Ayush investment innovation summit, the Prime Minister has said that India will introduce Ayush visa for foreign national. This is a visa that would call for more homegrown therapy, and people from foreign countries would be invited to take this therapy, which will again call for a lot more investment and a lot more employment generation and even recognizing Ayush at the global level, right? So the initiative of Ayush visa will boost the medical tourism in India and traditional medicine. Although medical tourism India में काफी अच्छी है compared to other countries, many Southeastern Asian countries visit India for their medical purposes. सो मेडिकल टूरिज्म के पर्पज से इंडिया में ऑलरेडी एक एडवांटेज है, बट ये जो ट्रेडिशनल मेडिसिन है उसको भी प्रमोट करने की कोशिश की जा रही है. According to the Ministry of Ayush, the present turnover for Ayush industry is around $18.1 billion, which was $3 billion in 2014. So you can see the toll that has taken place from 3 billion to almost 18.1 in a span of none less than 9 years. So this is what 8 to 9 years. This is what the figure is in terms of the Ayush industries. And even जो Ayush visa government ने recently incorporate की है वो medical tourism, global recognition to Ayush, and even benefiting to lot more people globally, and even for Indian people would be there. So this is something to extend the level of Ayush and incorporating that to each and every household, right? Now Ayush mark की बात की गई है. The Prime Minister said that India would soon introduce Ayush mark, which will give an authenticity to the quality Ayush product. So this is kind of a quality control that government would be doing in terms of giving a mark or a symbol, right? So this would be given to a product which is vetted using the latest technology. Even the technology incorporations in Ayush is very significant and important. Now, Ayush mark is being developed, which would be stamped on the product to enhance its credibility, its authenticity, and even it will call for a quality assurance of the Ayush product, which is again exported, and even it has a global recognition in terms of that. आपसे आयुष मार्क के बारे में प्रीलिम्स में सवाल भी पूछे जा सकते हैं. What is the rationale behind the आयुष mark? Now, encouraging startup culture. This is what Government of India is looking forward with. So the Union Ministry for Ayush has taken steps to encourage the startup culture in field of traditional medicine, चाहे वो incubation centers की बात हो जो कि develop की जा रही है by All India Institute of Ayurveda actually, which was recently inaugurated, right? So these are the government intervention in terms of boosting the startup culture, specifically in the Ayush sector. Now in 2022, so far 14 startups that have joined India has become unicorn in this club, यूनिकॉर्न वैसे स्टार्टअप्स को कहते हैं जिन्होंने कुछ माइलस्टोन अचीव किया होता है उस सेक्टर में. आप एग्जांपल के तौर पे पेटीएम समझ सकते हैं. पेटीएम हैज डन अ कमेंडेबल जॉब दैट इज कंसिडर्ड टू बी अ यूनिकॉर्न इन फिनटेक. अगर आप और दूसरे एग्जांपल को समझना चाहें, जोमेटो इज देयर, राइट. सो जिस तरह से जोमेटो ने फूड डिलीवरी में किया, दैट हैज अगेन क्रिएटेड अ यूनिकॉर्न. सो दीज स्टार्टअप आर कंसिडर्ड टू बी द यूनिकॉर्न. तो ऐसे अगर बात की जाए आयुष सेक्टर्स में, almost 14 startup has given a level of, or they have reached a level up to unicorn. Now, the government is also working on the modernization and expansion of Ayush e-market portal, like to enhance the e-commerce, right? जो खास करके ऑनलाइन परचेजिंग है या फिर वैसी जो हमारी प्रेजेंस होनी चाहिए आयुष को लेकर के, आयुष प्रोडक्ट्स को लेकर के, दैट वुड बी देयर विद द ई-मार्केट पोर्टल that would connect pharma with the companies with the Ayush product. So this will ultimately call for more income to the farmer, transparency in selling their products, and even it will reduce the middleman that is there in terms of sale and purchases for the farmer produce. And now the farmer would be capable to sell their products directly to the manufacturers. So these are some of the advantages that India would be coming up in due course of time. And this would also call for a lot more reachability of our product, both nationally and globally. Now, each new category of Ayush Ahar is also been created. ये क्या है? ये actually ऐसी initiative है जिसको फसाई फूड सेफ्टी अथॉरिटी ऑफ इंडिया ने लिया था लास्ट वीक in the regulations to help product with the herbal nutritional supplements, right? So this would be given an authentication mark in terms of their things that would be coming from the food safety in India. Government would create a network of Ayush Park also that will encourage and provide the new directions to the Ayush manufacturing. So this is an umbrella initiative by the government where they are working on each segment of Ayush. Every vacuum that is there in this sector would be fulfilled by the government initiative like Ayush Ahar and even Ayush manufacturing, Ayush Park, and Ayush labeling. So these are the some of the things that is essentially required for the sector to give it a larger boost and make it more reachable globally. Now the other news, center to tweak e-commerce portal rule, something very significant for your general studies paper 3, that is Indian economy and issues related to planning, mobilization, resource growth and development. This is important for general studies paper 2 as well, where government programs and policies are concerned. डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ कंज्यूमर अफेयर ने डिसाइड किया है कि वो एक नई रिवाइज्ड वर्जन लाएंगे, अमेंडमेंट करेंगे इन टर्म्स ऑफ द ऑनलाइन मार्केट प्लेस, जहाँ पे जो पूरी फंक्शनिंग है ऑनलाइन मार्केट प्लेस की उसको रिवैम्प करने की कोशिश की जा रही है, जहाँ पे एक एल्गोरिदम फेयरनेस लाने की बात की गई है. वाई दिस एल्गोरिदम फेयरनेस इज देयर? बिकॉज समटाइम कस्टमर फील चीटेड इन एनी ऑफ द ई कॉमर्स प्लेटफॉर्म. टू गिव यू अ प्रिसाइज एग्जाम्पल, आप अमेजोन या फ्लिपकार्ट के एग्जाम्पल्स लें. अगर आपने किसी भी प्रोडक्ट को सर्च किया है तो उसकी एल्गोरिदम के हिसाब से आपको इस प्रोडक्ट के बारे में बताई जाती है कि कौन सा प्रोडक्ट आपको रिकमेंडेड है और क्यों रिकमेंडेशंस आपको दी जा रही है, क्या उस प्रोडक्ट की रेटिंग क्या है, कितने लोगों ने परचेज किया है, क्या रिव्यूज़ है, उसके अकॉर्डिंगली आती हैं. बट देयर आर सम issues that has come in terms of algorithm also. So government is trying to incorporate the fairness in the algorithm for a consumer point of view, right? So the draft would call for playing a level playing field with the small businesses as well. The buyer has the right to know the product that is appearing on the top of the search when you search in any platform, चाहे वो टाटा क्लिक हो या फिर फ्लिपकार्ट हो, अमेजोन हो, मिंत्रा हो, किसी भी प्लेटफॉर्म पे अगर आप यूज़ कर रहे हैं तो जो टॉप सर्च आती है उसके क्या रीजंस हैं ये आपको पता होना चाहिए, उसके रैशनल को पता होना चाहिए. दिस इज व्हाट गवर्नमेंट इज ट्राइंग टू कम अप विद दिस इनिशिएटिव, राइट? सो द ई कॉमर्स रूल विल बी नोटिफाइड, actually was notified in July 2020 and this was amended in the last May. So the revision is expected and government would be working to ensure the algorithm fairness is working in all the platform that is being used by the consumer in India. Now consumer rights और transparency की बात की गई है. According to the Consumer Affairs Secretary, he has said that transparency and fairness is the main aim and rationale behind all this initiative, and this will definitely call for the consumer rights and digital economy. Now he categorically stated that nothing should be concealed from the end users. कोई भी चीज़ों को हमें छुपाने की जरूरत नहीं है. And even the algorithm and the dialects in the search should explain the reason that why we are showing you this product, right? The consumer has a right to know that why a product of a certain firm always appear in the top. चाहे Amazon की बात कर ले या Flipkart की बात कर ले, this is something the reason would be now provided and the customer would have a proper information with regards to that product, and no bluff can be done with the customers, right? So this is to ensure consumer right and transparency in the e-commerce market. Now, disclosure clause की बात गवर्नमेंट ने की है. So the revised rule will also stated with the disclosure clause. The portal often flashback sale accompanied by the lowest ever price. You have seen many platform like Myntra, even Flipkart, Amazon. They promise that this is a discounted rate and end of the year sale, the biggest sale of the year. These type of एडवर्टीजमेंट विच इज कमिंग उसके क्या रैशनल या सिर्फ ये सिर्फ अपने बातों को रखने के लिए ही कहते हैं ये लोवेस्ट प्राइस है. सो गवर्नमेंट ने कहा है कि आप पुराने प्राइस जो आप कंपेयर दे रहे हैं, बेसिकली वट एवर ऑफर यू कमिंग विद, यू हैव टू let the consumer know कि before में क्या prices थी, right? So a comparison of the price, if suppose this is a lowest ever price that has been given, LEP for an example, और जो करंट प्राइस है, राइट, उस दोनों में डिफरेंस पता नहीं होगी, या फिर जो पहले भी ऑफर रही है, मान लो समर सेल है, विंटर सेल है, एंड इवन एनी फेस्टिवल सेल इज देयर, सो द कंपैरिजन हैज टू बी देयर सो दैट कंज्यूमर कैन बी अवेयर दैट विच सेल वाज एक्चुअली हैविंग द लोवेस्ट प्राइस, राइट? And even the product review will also come under with the influence of the customer choices. The portal will give disclosure of the rationale behind the rating features, and even it would be screened to ensure that that is not a bot generated, मतलब ये manually नहीं की गई, and even to promote certain products over the other product. So transparency, authenticity, genuinity, these are some of the things that would be coming, and the disclosure clauses in this particular editions of the government rules and norm would be helping a lot more consumer in India. Now the other news, 6 scorpion takes to water. This is important for general studies paper 3. Achievement of India in science and technology, Indianization of new technology and developing of new technology. So the sixth and last of the French scorpion submarine, that is INS Vagarshir, is now there. And this was the sixth scorpion that was under the Project 75. Project 75 is again something relevant for your prelims examination. This was recently launched by the Defense Secretary in Mumbai, right? So this is a point connecting here. Now the submarine manufactures was done by the Magazon Dock Shipyard, and this is also known as MDL, in undergoing rigorous trial and test that was there. So very soon this would be commissioned with the Indian Navy, and it would be fully working with all that combat capacity. The launch of the submarine is an example of India becoming self-reliance. जो आत्मनिर्भर भारत की कॉन्सेप्ट गवर्नमेंट ने दी है, उसकी तरफ एक प्रमोशंस है, उसकी तरफ एक इनिशिएटिव है. Now, Project 75 Scorpion programs की अगर बात करें, there were almost 6 Scorpion which was there, submarines was there. So 4 submarines की अगर बात करें, INS Kalvari, INS Kanderi, INS Karang, INS Vela, and the 5th was basically INS. These were INS Varghese. So this is the 5th one, and the last one, the 6th one, is INS Workshire. So this Workshire is the 6th in number, and the total Project 75 is completed now, right? This was done by the MDL, and in collaboration, this would be commissioned with Indian Navy, and the trials are already going for Varghese and the Workshire. सो ये काफ़ी इंपॉर्टेंट होगी इंडियन नेवी के लिए, जहाँ पे इस लेवल के हाई स्टेट ऑफ आर्ट टेक्नोलॉजी के साथ सबमरीन को इनकॉर्पोरेट की जा रही है इंडियन नेवी. सो दे वुड बी गोइंग विद सी ट्रायल एंड वुड बी लेटर कमिशनाइज्ड एज पर द रिक्वायरमेंट एंड द डिजायर्ड एसेंशियल क्राइटेरिया वंस फुलफिल. जो SOP है, स्टैंडर्ड ऑपरेटिंग प्रोसीजर्स हैं, उसके अकॉर्डिंगली ही इसको कमिशनाइज किया जाएगा. नाउ अबाउट INS Vagarshir. So this is named after a shandfish, which is a deep sea water predator in Indian Ocean. And the sub-scorpion class submarine is a class of diesel electrified attack submarines, which has a diesel propulsions or air dependent propulsion. So those of you who are appearing for CAPF examination, उनके लिए भी important है. And this is again relevant for your prelims examination as well, right? So it is capable of undertaking several types of mission, which include anti-surface warfare, anti-submarine warfare, intelligence gathering, mine layering, and aerial surveillance. So these are some of the capabilities that would be taken by the INS Vagarshir. Now the submarine is also was actually manufactured by MDL and in collaboration with the Navy Group of France. So if you've been asked an examination कौन से country के साथ collaborations हुई हैं, so the correct answer would be France. The potent platform is making a generation shift in the submarine operation. After the induction, the state of art technology and even all level of advancement of technology that is coming in the submarine would be compared to the many other developed countries as well. So this will help India to aid and enhance the level of Indian Navy. You can see the image. This is the actual image of INS Vagrashir, which was recently being there, and it would be very soon commissioned to the Indian Navy. Now, sea may inundate many cities by 2050. Inundate means that it will submerge the cities, right? So let's see what the report has to go and what the analysis was made. This is important for General Studies Paper 3, Conservation, Environmental Pollution, Degradation and EIA. According to the analysis which was done by the RMSI, कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट्स बताए गए हैं इस एनालिसिस में। जाइए, कहा गया है दैट मुंबई, कोची, मैंगलोर, चेन्नई, Visakhapatnam and Trivandrum would be drowned by 2050 because of the rise in sea level. They would be undulated, they would be submerged. Now, this study was based on the finding that was done by the IPCC, that is Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change latest report. The IPCC assessment report indicates that India's sea level will rise significantly by 2050. This is what the IPCC latest report has to say, and we already had discussed the IPCC report. If you have not watched that video, do check it out. You can just make a simple search by typing IPCC report Apti plus, you will get the video, right? So sea rising again there in the North Indian Ocean occurred at the rate of 1.06 to 1.7 mm per year, and this is going to accelerate further by 3.3, right? So this is how the things is ongoing, and even the worsening of climatic condition still goes on. It would ensure कि इस तरह के problems हमें persistently show करने पड़ेंगे, देखने करने पड़ेंगे, and even it will call for the submersion of these all cities. This is what the final finding has to say. Now, more about the finding. So, several Indian cities that lie near the sea may be submerged in the next 28 years if the water level is rising because of the environmental pollutions, right? According to the analysis which was done by RMSI, they have said that some critical properties in the cities like Mumbai, Kochi, Mangalore, Chennai, Visakhapatnam and Thiruvananthapuram would be drawn by 2050 because of the rise in sea level. Now, sea level rise की अगर फॉर्मेट की बात करें, how this is going and what is the trend. So RMSI जिन्होंने पूरी एनालिसिस की इस रिपोर्ट की IPCC की, they have actually taken the reference of IPCC report, the latest report, and they said that the capabilities of the map cities जो कि submerged हो सकती हैं is because of the sea level increase. Based on the inundation, that is on submersion, the analysis of identification of the number would be the key infrastructure factor potentially जो कि submerged हो सकते हैं ये सारे cities के साथ। तो जो मैंने आपको cities के list बताई है, possibly by 2050 down the line 25 years 28 years के बाद ये possibility देखी जा सकती है। As per the analysis, 464 building would be affected potentially because of the sea rise in the Kochi. Taking consideration with the sea rise and high tide, 150 building likely to be inundated. And even these building would be residential. 91% जो buildings होंगे वो residential होंगे, 6% commercial and 2% would be industrial and port area on the ferry terminal building. So these are some of the reports, some astonishing report with regard to the rise in sea level and even the melting of the glacier and other environmental detrimental activities that is done by the human. Now, peak in greenhouse gases, ये भी बताई गई है according to the IPCC report. The greenhouse gases like CO2 emitted by the world needs to be picked up by 2025, followed 43% reduction in 10 years to limit the global warming, that is to 1.5 degrees Celsius by 21st century. So this is the year down the line. अभी इसमें almost आप देख सकते हैं 82 years है, but again we have to see that how we are working on a sustainable environment which will create a healthy environment for the future, and it would be more sustainable in terms of giving something to the back generation, right? Now, in a free fall, this is an editorial written by N.K. Singh. He is a chairman of 15th Finance Commission. And this editorial is important for General Studies Paper 2, that is Function and Responsibility of Union and State and Challenges Pertaining to the Federal Structure. Now, under this editorial, I'll be simplifying this editorial by 4 important subheads. That is, freebies concept क्या है, desirable expenditures क्या होने चाहिए, concerns क्या है freebies को लेकर के, और way forward क्या है, right? And the entire editorial focuses upon the freebies and the fiscal concern. A very important editorial because आपने recent में देखा होगा, even for a government of Punjab and even for Delhi, they are working on freebies concept. तो एक्सपर्ट व्यू से फ्रीबीज कितने अच्छे हैं या कितने डिक्रीमेंटल हो सकते हैं हमारे फिजिकल ग्रोथ के लिए, इस पर्टिकुलर स्टेट्स के लिए, उसके बारे में एक बात की गई है. एंड वेरी इंपॉर्टेंटली, दिस कैन अगेन बी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर अ मेंस क्वेश्चन. यू कैन बी आस्क्ड विद द एनालिसिस पार्ट that in the current context of India, the freebies concept that has arisen in the governance, how far this is true in context of the financial health of a state government. आपसे इस तरह के सवाल पूछे जा सकते हैं. So make sure you are ready with the good content. Now, the author want to say that India is a union of state. We all know, we have read in polity, and it is not a confederation of the state, right? And union is indestructible, right? So India is an integral, both जहाँ पे states और union, states जो हैं और center मिलके काम करती है. This is why the reason we call it a union of a state. But जो strength है actual center की, वो lie करती है, उतनी ही पावर होनी चाहिए स्टेट्स के पास भी, तभी स्टेट सेंटर को भी स्ट्रेंथ मिलता है. सो इक्वल डिस्प्रपोर्शनेट ऑफ पावर इज अगेन समथिंग वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, बट द सोल पावर, द कंसंट्रेटेड पावर इज ऑलवेज देयर विद द सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट, राइट? देयरफॉर मैक्रो इकोनॉमिक स्टेबिलिटी पॉइंट से अगर देखें तो यूनियन इज कंटिंजेंट ऑफ द मैक्रो इकोनॉमिक स्टेबिलिटी फॉर बोथ द सेंटर एंड द स्टेट. सो इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट जो फाइनेंशियल स्टेबिलिटी है, जो मैक्रो इकोनॉमिक स्टेबिलिटी, वो सेंटर के पास भी बनी हो और स्टेट के पास भी बनी. नाउ फ्रीबीज की कॉन्सेप्ट के बारे में बात करते हैं, जो इस एडिटोरियल की पूरी फोकस है. सो दिस एडिटोरियल फोकसेस दैट द पॉलिटिकल डायलॉग दैट हैज बिल्ट ओवर द फ्रीबीज is fraughted and danger. This is what N.K. Singh has to quote. And he categorically said that there is a great ambiguity in the freebies mean. Why he meant that, we'll discuss that also. So there's a need to distinguish between the concept of merits good. अगर गवर्नमेंट कुछ अच्छा काम कर रही है तो उसके मेरिट्स होने चाहिए कि किस बेसिस पे हो रही है. इट शुड नॉट ओनली बी गिविंग समथिंग फॉर फ्री, राइट? मेरिट्स गुड्स पे हो एंड पब्लिक गुड्स ऑन विच द एक्सपेंडिचर आउटले have a benefit for overall of our society, not for a specific group, not for a specific basically population, but for conclusive और सारे लोगों के लिए होनी चाहिए वो, right? डिजराइबल एक्सपेंडिचर की बात की गई है. कौन कौन से ऐसे एक्सपेंडिचर्स हैं जो स्टेट गवर्नमेंट एक्चुअल में करती है या फिर करनी चाहिए. सो दीज आर द सजेशंस दैट इज कमिंग. तो डिजराइबल एक्सपेंडिचर होती है स्ट्रेंथनिंग एंड डीपनिंग ऑफ द पब्लिक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन सिस्टम, जो हमारे पीडीएस सिस्टम्स हैं. अगर उसमें गवर्नमेंट कुछ खर्च कर रही है तो दैट इज लेजिटिमेट, दैट इज गुड. सेकेंड, एम्प्लॉयमेंट गारंटी स्कीम इज समथिंग विच एक्सपर्ट सजेस्ट कि हाँ, अगर आप एम्प्लॉयमेंट जनरेशन में इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं या फ्रीबीज दे रहे हैं, दैट इज गुड. Support for education, this call for a quality education, that is again good. And enhancing the outlay for health, because during the COVID-19 we have seen the health infrastructure was worsted, that was impacted. So if government is giving some health subsidies and even for health benefits, so that is good. So these are some of the desirable expenditure that should be coming from the central government and from the state government. Now some concern that has been discussed in this editorial, we'll see everything one by one. तो कुछ concerns हैं, मैं आपको हर एक सब टॉपिक्स के साथ बताऊंगा हर क्या क्या कंसर्न रेज किए हैं. पहली कंसर्न है रिगार्डिंग द मैक्रो इकोनॉमिक स्टेबिलिटी. फ्रीबीज अंडरकट करती है बेसिक फ्रेमवर्क ऑफ मैक्रो इकोनॉमिक स्टेबिलिटी की, जहाँ पे पॉलिटिक्स ऑफ जो फ्रीबीज है वो डिस्टॉर्ट करती है हमारे एक्सपेंडिचर प्रायोरिटीज की, कि गवर्नमेंट की जो प्रायोरिटी है उसकी लेवल चेंज होती है, एंड दे एक्चुअली चेंज इट बिकॉज ऑफ द बेनिफिट एंड इवन फॉर द प्रोमिसेस दैट हैव एक्चुअली मेड, राइट? The outlays are being concentrated on subsidies on one kind or another. So to give you an example, अभी recent के टाइम में अगर नॉर्थ इंडिया में बात करें तो दिल्ली और पंजाब है. आप साउथ में चले जाएं, केरला, तमिलनाडु, these government are actually working on the freebies concept. Now distorted expenditure priority होती है. Recently राजस्थान गवर्नमेंट ने जिस तरह से अलाउ किया है कि वो पेंशन स्कीम को रिवर्ट करेंगे, तो उसके क्या कॉन्सिक्वेंसेज होंगे वो बताया गया है. जब वो रिवर्जन होगी इस तरह की चीज़ों की, तो 56% जो गवर्नमेंट की टैक्स और नॉन टैक्स रेवेन्यू है वो उतनी को बेसिकली कंपोजिट करेगी. तो जितने टोटल होंगे उसमें 56% सिर्फ और सिर्फ पेंशन स्कीम्स में जाएंगे। तो एक्सपर्ट का कहना है कि आप टोटल 56% अमाउंट वैसे लोगों को दे रहे हैं जो कि सिर्फ 6% पॉपुलेशन को कैटर कर रही है, और जो मास पॉपुलेशन है बाकी के 94% जो पॉपुलेशन है उनको फिर क्या मिलेगा अगर इनको हम 56% इनको ही दे देते, right? So this is something, if this all 56% will go to the 6% of the population, then what will be left for the rest 94% of the population? This is what the author has to ask in this editorial, and it is a danger generational inequality that will definitely affect the broader equality and morality for the future generations. उसके बाद सोशल इनइक्वालिटीज बढ़ती है, जो इंटरजनरेशनल इक्वालिटी है, दैट लेड्स टू द ग्रेटर सोशल इनइक्वालिटीज बिकॉज ऑफ एक्सपेंडिचर प्रायोरिटीज जो कि डिस्टॉर्टेड और ग्रोथ इनहैंस टर्म्स पे होती है, एंड इवन इट हैज सम स्पेसिफिक टारगेट दैट इज बीइंग फुलफिल्ड. नाउ डिस्टॉर्शन ऑफ एग्रीकल्चर प्रायोरिटीज, अगर आप बहुत ज़्यादा एग्रीकल्चर सब्सिडीज भी देते हैं तो even if you give subsidies for electricity, waters and fertilizer, overuse can again detrimental for the soil and even for the farmer as well, right? So the depleting water ground is important issues जहाँ पे freebies और जो unnecessary consumption of water है उसे भी हमें यूज रोकने की जरूरत है. Manufacturing की अगर बात करें, freebies has deliberate effect on the future of manufacturing. Freebies lowers the quality and competitiveness of manufacturing, which is again efficient for the infrastructure and enable high factor efficiency in terms of manufacturing sector. Last but not the least, that is sub-national bankruptcy, जहाँ पे freebies के concept में ये दिखाया गया है कि एक तरह से sub-national bankruptcy arise हो सकती है because of this, because freebies into a questions market differentiate between the proliferate and non-proliferate state, जहाँ पे इस तरह के जो डिस्कोर्स हैं, फ्रीबीज के कॉन्सेप्ट है, वो कहीं ना कहीं उस स्टेट को एक सब नेशनल बैंकरप्सी की तरफ भी ले जा सकती है. सो वी नीड टू मॉनिटर इट, वी नीड टू वर्क इन अ कम्प्रीहेंसिव मैनर. मैंने आपको जो प्रायोरिटीज एरियाज बताई हैं जहाँ पे इन्वेस्टमेंट एक्चुअल गवर्नमेंट करनी चाहिए, जो लेजिटिमेट इन्वेस्टमेंट है उस पर ध्यान देने की जरूरत है. सो दीज आर द थिंग्स दैट वुड वर्क. नाउ वे फॉरवर्ड की अगर बात करें, द रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ऑफ गवर्नमेंट एंड अदर पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज की वो बेटरमेंट करे सोसाइटी के लिए, और कोई स्पेसिफिक ग्रुप के लिए ना हो, पूरे गुड गवर्नेंस को प्रमोट करने की कोशिश करे, एंड इट शुड ऑफर फ्रीबीज टू ईच एंड एवरी सेक्शन ऑफ द सोसाइटी, नॉट फॉर अ पर्टिकुलर टारगेटेड ग्रुप. एंड देयर इज अ नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड द इम्पैक्ट ऑफ फ्रीबीज फ्रॉम द इकोनॉमिक सेंस ऑल्सो. ऐसा नहीं है कुछ भी है आपने फ्री कर दिया, उसके इकोनॉमिक रिपरकशंस भी होते हैं, वो हमें अंडरस्टैंड करने की जरूरत है. एंड इवन it would have to connect with the taxpayer monies also, because everyone is paying tax and everyone has a legitimate right with the government to get their things done. अगर आपने टैक्स दी है तो आपको भी चाहिए कि आपको एक अच्छी सड़क मिले, आपको अच्छी सुविधा मिले, but it should not all the money of the taxpayer should go only for the welfare program. It has to be equally distributed for the welfare of all section of the society. This is how the way forward can go ahead if you're writing in mains paper. Moving ahead with the MCQ questions of the day. Before I proceed, just to tell you the answer of yesterday questions. For first question, the correct option is A. For second question, the correct option is C. Today's MCQ for practice, Making Peace with Nature, was recently published by United Nations Environment Programme, Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, Food and Agriculture Organization, World Wildlife Fund for Nature. So these are some of the options that you have to choose as a correct option. Second, that is vertical launch short range surface to air missile. It was indigenously developed by DRDO. It is capable of neutralizing various aerial threat at the close range, including the sea skimming target. So you might have practiced this question, but to get you clarity, आपको फिर से एक बार practice करनी है ताकि आपके concepts clear रहे. So this was all about for the daily news and editorial analysis of the day, followed by the MCQ questions. If you have any other concern, you can let me know. I'll be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for watching this video.